host Santi Hernandez with
your co-host Annalie Reyes.
I am beyond excited for today's show. We'll be talking about trips for kids with the new manager, Shahne. He will be sharing more information, how to get involved, and all of the new updates. Welcome, Shahne. Thank you for being here. Would you like to introduce yourself to our audience?
Yeah, first off, thanks for having me. I was hoping and wishing I would have been able to get on earlier. Really happy to be here regardless. My name is Shahne Belveal. Shahne with a double H. I know a lot of folks look at the name and Shahne. It's got a little bit of a different, if it helps you to remember that it is, in fact, Shahne. Double H.
Well, wow. Thank you so much for being here. Again, we're so excited. You are our first in-person guest, Annalie and I, and we're so excited and a little nervous, but it's okay. And yeah, before we start talking about the whole trips for kids, I do want to start off with a warm-up question. It is related to trips for kids. How old were you when you learned to ride a bike?
Ooh, dang.
Do you want to start? Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No. Go ahead.
Jump right in. Oh, man. The first time that I rode a bike, honestly, I couldn't tell you specifically. I do remember about how yay high I was, right? I was maybe 2 feet tall, little maybe 5 or 6 year old. And I was just, as soon as I got it, you couldn't hold me down. Like I was in the apartment complex all over the place, just rolling around. And, I remember constantly having to avoid cars. I was not safe yet on a bike as a kid, but it was exciting.
Wow.
I remember I was like around 5, but I had like I think it's called, I'm not sure, but it has like 2 little wheels on the back side.
The training
wheels.
Yeah, the training wheels. Yeah, I would use that bicycle. I used to like love it, like bicycling with that little.
Awesome. Yeah,
bicycle.
I learned around like 8, maybe. I was a bit older when I came here. My dad taught me how to ride, but I was a lot older, like maybe 7, 8, when I learned to ride a bike. But I learned how to ride a bike. Funny story. I had my dad was teaching my younger brother, and one time my younger brother left, and my dad was focusing on teaching me how to ride a bike, and he left me there, and he saw that my brother was going down the hill, so he let me go, and he went to chase my little brother, and I was like, oh my God. So that's how we learned to ride a bike, with that accident, which is really funny.
Nice.
Yeah. No, I remember like it's so scary to just like transfer from like training wheels to like just 2 wheels. It was very scary, at least for me in the beginning, because you have to learn how to balance yourself.
Yeah.
So
What they give the kids now is without the pedals, right? You just got the handlebars and a seat to sit on, and you're pushing yourself.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So you can first.
Are those new?
Yeah, I'd say they're newer.
Okay.
But definitely.
Because my little brother, the smallest one now, he learned his first bike was that, where you didn't have training wheels, where you just go on and you just kind of walk.
Yeah.
And if you want to go faster, you just move little legs faster. But I thought I've never seen those, and I wasn't sure if it was because my family, weren't very informed that, but it might be new.
The correct path. Not just to put you on the bike.
I was wondering, do kids in your program learn how to like ride a bike, or are they supposed to know already?
So generally, it determines the style of program. So if it's like, it is a prereq for the youth to know how to ride generally. If that is an issue, we can set up a ride beforehand to do like a learn to ride type of session, and we'll set up cones and have folks and just stay in a particular area. It is often sometimes we do encounter youth that are still learning at all ages, literally all across the boards, adults.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, especially at least for me, I know that a lot of family members that I have don't know how to ride a bike. One, because no one could teach them. And so then they don't know how to teach. Like my mom, she learned to ride a bike in her late 20s. Yeah. She learned with us. Like we taught her how to ride a bike because she didn't know how to ride a bike. But yeah, let's get started with some questions that we have. We're so excited to have you here again. I mean, I really want to learn more about Trips for Kids because I think when the Trips for Kids started, I have a lot of cousins who were part of the program. And I think we're going to talk about it later, which I'm excited to kind of ask. But we're going to start off with Family Bike Festival. What is the bike festival about?
Sweet. And it kind of segues directly from what you were talking about with, we have parents that may not have as much experience and don't have the capacity as well, in many different ways, socioeconomically as well, but to pass on these skills or teach youth how to ride. And so the Family Bike Festival is based in Pickleweed Park, which is good to bookmark, Pickleweed Park. I do have flyers here with me, but it is a kind of a barrier breaking event that we have. So we bring bikes. So bikes is no longer a barrier. We also provide food. We have pizza, some drinks there, and it's to allow families to bring everyone. And regardless of the skill level, we're setting up rides. So folks that are able to go on rides will go on different distance rides. We'll also take time to teach an entire family how to ride if we need to. So definitely, really just a community event to have fun, so folks can start to get on a bike and ride around.
Are you the only one that watches the kids? Like, let's say it's like a children program. Are you the only one watching them ride the bike, or is there other volunteers or guardians?
Yeah, so it's organization wide. We're getting as many of our staff as we can to go in and support and help. There's going to be at least 3 of our continuous ride leaders that go on our programs that will be there as well, as well as Recyclery staff and other folks, and lots of partners might be there, folks that are used to working with us that want to support.
Wow, that sounds so fun. I mean, for everybody, I think, again, like my mom didn't know how to ride a bike, and having that event, I can imagine her being very excited where they're teaching her kids and everybody participating. I love how you mentioned that you guys provide bikes, which was a question that I have, but you answered that. Yeah. That you guys provide bikes, which is so awesome because, again, we have a different variety of families and incomes. And I know for a lot of families, owning a bike is not possible. And I would just want to say thank you for providing that, because I know as a little kid, being able to ride a bike makes your day in so many ways, even if it's just for a few hours, which is awesome.
I can agree with that. I feel like riding a bike can help your mental health. It's another exercise that can bring you more peace or freedom away from schoolwork or work and stuff like that. So it's really nice to have that. And I was wondering, is this a one-time-a-year festival, or does it occur every month?
Yeah, so right now it's generally a once a year. It's been happening in the summer times. To this date, as far as I've been taught. But do I want it to continue to just be once? No, I would love it to be a normal event that folks can expect to go. It'll be maybe still stay at Pickleweed Park or different accessible spaces. What I really enjoy is not just getting folks onto bikes and providing that experience and that access to this recreational activity that is great for your mental health, but also getting folks the opportunity to figure out the natural spaces in their communities that they're able to get to, and maybe not even just the natural spaces but the trails to take. I think that's another question on here as well, is the different trails as well. Sometimes you might go out to an environmental space, but you're not totally sure where to go, what to do when you get there, right? And you see all these folks that are, taking, really, I would say, taking up a lot of space in the natural world. The folks that have been maybe taking up too much space. And so a lot of what I like to preach on, a lot of these rides preach, quote unquote, is a lot of the reclaiming of that space for communities that are underserved and or underrepresented in these spaces. So empowering that reclamation of space through whatever it is, biking, hiking, just being in our natural environment is super healthy for us, and we need to reconnect with the land. So it's really exciting.
What do you mean by people taking space?
Interesting. Thanks for asking. Yeah. So traditionally, if we're thinking originally, we have our native groups of folks that have been here and are still here, right? And really important to put a stake in are still here, but a lot of them have been pushed out of these spaces or forgotten about. And I want to pretense that it can be pretty heavy when I mentioned or when I mention whiteness or white culture, I want to make sure that this is not as much, just want to pull away from maybe some of that being a damaging thing to somebody who might hear someone be called white or refer to something as white. And a lot of that is because I think it's you might say like a social fabric issue as far as fitting into what ultimately serves you best as per the society norms. Sorry if this is getting...
Oh, no, you're good. You're good.
Good.
But ultimately breaking down this white culture of taking up and know-how and saviorism and breaking that down and trying to get folks to be more in touch with their natural culture, such as your Italian or your German, or breaking away from that whiteness. And so what I've found is that this is mine now kind of idea, and I'm going to take up as much spaces, and I need to be telling you how you should be experiencing this so I can continue to experience it the way that I want to. I actually encountered this on a ride over the weekend, or just this past week, where we're riding through with one of our groups. It's mostly Latinx youth, fully Latinx, and they jumped to it before I did. They were quick to call this person a Karen, and they were telling us and yelling at us like, you shouldn't be here. This is not what you're supposed to do. And it was tough. First, very activating, you might say. It kind of takes me to a place of frustration where folks are telling us how we should be experiencing a particular space. But that being said, it was a great opportunity to debrief to the youth in that situation that like, hey, like, you belong here, right? And don't let other folks tell you how you should be experiencing this natural space. In short.
Well, thank you for sharing. And I want to touch on a couple of things that you mentioned. And one is the land. I got to work with the Indigenous Healing Center, and I got to learn a lot about the land and how that land is so important. And one of the biggest things that I've learned from them is that back in the day, our ancestors thought of the land as not something you can own, because it's who you are. How can you own yourself? And so we're always talking about properties and like, that's mine, that's yours. And they really taught me like, no, it's ours. Like, you're part of the land. Yeah. And that's why reconnecting with the land is so important, for your feet to touch the soil, and for you to smell fresh air, and for you to listen to the birds, because that's who you are. That's who we are made. And that is so important. And I think we get so lost in like our own perspective of like, this is how you're supposed to enjoy it, which I see. And I know growing up, I learned so much from being in this country than back home. I'm from Guatemala, and I know growing up for us was running in the backyard and stuff, but we didn't have bikes per se, because we weren't like, our town wasn't so developed, and there wasn't enough money. So coming here, I learned to ride a bike. I learned what it is to go on a hike. Like back home, those terms aren't used. So I think just owning it in your own way is so powerful. And I'm glad you encourage, Latinx and the other minority groups of how to enjoy the land, because it is ours. Unfortunately, we have like the pay by, but it is our land. And I know it's kind of a weird thing that we have incorporated in society of owning stuff, owning land, but really nature is ours as a whole. But thank you so much for sharing that. Do you want to add something?
Yeah, I would just say like, thank you guys both to like add your experience. I definitely think it's like important to touch on this topic as well, since like this community is very diverse, and we should all enjoy the land, that like the beautiful nature that is in here in Marin, because it's very different compared to other counties. Like Marin is very unique, and I really appreciate the land that I'm living in. So yeah. And I was wondering, since you said that like there's a lot of opportunities, like free opportunities. But I was wondering, do you guys offer like carpool, like for kids who like their parents are working and they can't drop them off to like a certain program or riding trail?
Yeah. So one of the things that we have an ongoing program that's based out of Davidson, and a lot of times when we're not doing a ride that starts from that particular location, then we will take our van. We have a passenger van that will pick up. It holds up to 9, and we'll as many trips as we need to, but for the group size, but up to 9 students, we'll take them over to China Camp and then drop them back off. And usually it's working within like an after school window. Or within summer camps, right? So a lot of these students we're working mostly with organizations that are already serving students. It's we're not a supervisory style of organization. We're working in tandem with folks that have youth that they are mostly responsible for supervising. We're responsible for the risk management and getting, facilitating the rides and the lessons and all things that you might learn on this ride, whether it is natural environment knowledge or bike skills or physical education, social emotional.
That's so cool though. I'm sorry.
What ages are allowed to like go and carpool with you guys?
So we serve, it's less of an age, generally middle school and high school, but it's less of an age requirement as much as a height requirement for the size that we have bikes. Okay. And once you get to a certain height, it's really tough, I think, for the smaller youth to keep up with some of the larger youth. And so as tall as, 6, I'm 6'2". And the short I like to say furthest away from the sun, right? You got closest to the sun, furthest away from the sun. The furthest away from the sun you can be is about 4'4", to fit on the bikes and not be struggling up along the hills.
Yeah. Well, good to know. I'm glad you guys offer that carpool and providing rides for students. Again, there are families I know that work really late, and that it's awesome to have a program where kids can go distract yourself, and instead of being home and locked up, which is, I feel like, one of the worst things that we have in my generation is that lockup of not enjoying nature and going outside. I don't know if we asked you this, but do you have to pay for the family festival? If you do,
no, 100% free.
100% free.
100% free for the family bike festival.
Did that pass already for this year?
It's coming up on the 24th.
The 24th of
July. So it's Sunday, upcoming, not this Sunday, but the following.
Oh, great. Well, perfect timing. Yeah, perfect timing so that we can promote that on our social media, and also we're going to put it on our Facebook comments so people know. I
brought flyers.
Oh, great. Awesome. We can put them, for downstairs when people come in and out. That would be awesome to have. Thank you. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. And
if they want to like join, they contact you, right?
I think it's just a show up type of event.
Oh, great. Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, you have it in Spanish too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Definitely. We try to be as bilingual as we can. I'm still learning, but I was a part of. I've been surrounded. I've been immersed in Latinx culture in a lot of different ways.
Is there anyone from your organization that speaks Spanish?
Yes, we do have Spanish-speaking folks. Yeah. Adam, surprisingly, also not surprisingly. Anybody who knows Spanish, sorry. He also speaks Spanish. So we're
sorry about that.
No, it's still working it. But other folks as well. Yeah. And we will be soon hiring, and hopefully a woman identifying who speaks Spanish, hopefully moving forward into the fall. Because as Adam leaves, I will need to hire a new trail rides leader. And I would love if this person was at minimum able to speak Spanish, but also a woman would be great.
Yeah. Well, I feel like that's what the very two languages here. Well, there's so many languages, but Spanish and English are kind of like the big ones. But I mean, we also have Vietnamese. I know here in the studio, we have a Spanish and a Vietnamese show. But awesome. Just having that variety of language is so useful for families. And I always will push that. Yes, it's America, but America is mixed, and I speak English, but I still want that Spanish. Like, I don't want that Spanish to go away in my culture and my siblings, because I'm like, that's so important, because when you travel the world, you speak other languages, and some languages, Spanish, some countries are only Spanish. So having that is just so cool. I call it freedom. Like you have a big freedom there.
Yep.
Yeah. And I would just say, like, just to clarify our audience, do you want to explain who is Adam?
Adam is the previous Trail Rides program manager, Trail Rides and Earn a Bike program manager. He has been training me. He's super awesome. He's been in the position for about 6 years. I'm learning a lot from him still constantly. And he's been holding it down out here. And I'm really excited to grab the baton there and keep it going.
Yeah, and I think we had a show with Adam. I think you and Javier were on the show.
We did.
Right?
It was on Zoom.
Yeah.
So we're really happy to have you here because I know we told Adam that we were going to have him back again live, but we're happy to have you here.
Yeah. And I remember you guys mostly talk about Earn a Bike program.
Yeah. So this time it's a bit different, and I'm excited for our audience to hear more about everything, which I want to jump into the next one, which is internship opportunities. What is the age requirement for interning? If you guys have internships, I don't know.
Yeah. So this is why I actually wanted to try to get on the previous show, because we do have an internship right now that is accepting applications until the end of the day, ultimately. So it's a little bit of, and I would also suggest that if you are inspired to still apply through the weekend, they are looking for as many applicants as they can, and they extended it. But back to your original question, this is high school age, so 15 to 18.
Okay.
And you'll be working within the Recyclery. So not as much getting out on rides with me. Hopefully soon to come, we'll have the ability to hire interns, because I would love to have some interns and folks to help support my rides. And I also like to scaffold different leadership and mentorship to young adults and young youth, and so they can feel they are empowered to step into their voice. And, so I'm excited I've been pushing for my own intern, but this particular intern is based out of the Recyclery, the 4th Street spot there. And I can, do you have more specific questions? Sorry.
Yeah, you said mentor, so you are mentoring the kids, the interns?
So yes, there's like a mentorship, and they're trying to ultimately prepare you for real life skills and in real life work environments. And so you'll be working not with me, but under Marin, who's the manager of the Recyclery. So he will be a mentor / boss. It is a paid internship. I personally don't know how much it's paying, but when you hear the words paid and internship together, that's usually a very good thing.
Very good thing, yes.
Going into college as well, and all these, yes.
And what do you do in Recyclery?
So it's a bike shop. It's a donation based bike shop. And so if you have an old bike that you want to donate, they will accept that. They'll determine if it's something that they can restore, and all of the proceeds to the bike shop go to supporting the Trail Rides program. And so you'll be doing different bike shop type tasks. Ultimately, you'll be learning a little bit of mechanics. I have a list of team building and professional communication skills. All right. We got sales technique and customer service skills.
Sounds good.
Oh, yeah.
Your resume.
I could go through. Would you all let me? You want me to keep going?
Why not?
All right. So we have basic bike mechanic skills such as tire and inner tube changes and bike safety assessments and adjustments. How to process donations of bikes and bike gear. The process of arranging bike part sales on eBay. There's a lot of transferable skills in here. I'm looking through research and analysis. The basics of business operations, daily sales, reconciliations, marketing, and project management, critical thinking skills, leadership skills. So the types of stuff you might get from this internship.
Yeah, I was seeing on the website, it says shop on eBay. Is that something that you guys sell from the recycling?
Yeah. So sometimes we have certain items or parts that come in that are really based on maybe the market for their sellability is better on eBay. Folks that are looking for a particular part, and because it's so donation based, a lot of the parts that we're getting are old. And so if you want an old part and you're trying to restore an old bike, that's where you should definitely go. Absolutely, the Recyclery will likely have it.
That's really nice. Do you have any questions?
Sorry.
Are we good?
You're trying to hold it in.
I did want to mention on the internship, though. I do have a cousin who did back in the day. He learned, which is cool, which is why if you really want to be participant in the internship, I think it's really good, because my cousin, he started doing the internship and he had this mentor. I forgot her name, but I think it was a girl, and she trained him and taught him so many things, and he was there and he was going through some interesting stuff at home, and he focused on that. And then he started once we got our bikes, my mom started paying him for him to fix our bikes. So one of the things that I liked that he did was like he gained all the skills and then he took it home and then he told our family members like, you got a bike, I can fix it. He eventually got his little brother to do that. And I know growing up, he played a big part. Sorry. on I'm like laughing.
So
He played a big part on fixing our bikes.
nice.
The giggles.
Sovereignty.
But anyways, yeah, that's it. My part.
Yeah.
It's sick. No, and that's what's so cool. Not just in the this. Are we good?
Yeah, we're good.
All right. I'm like, I can't see what. It's really okay. It's really cool. Yeah, they're skills that are transferable that could land you a shop at a bike shop. I was able to. Before I was with Trips for Kids Marin, I was with Trek Bikes. And then Specialized Bikes, which are two of the largest bike companies in the world. And I came in with pretty minimal knowledge of how to work on bikes. All of the knowledge that you would be getting from this internship and or the Earn a Bike class could land you a job at just about any bike shop. These are skills that you can't really necessarily go to school for. And, there may be like a little side class, but these are skills that are like trade skills. Some of us would like to, are down to go into the college route, and other folks want to focus on a particular skill and hone and fine tune that. And so it's a pretty sweet opportunity to get your foot in the door of something like that.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like in Marin, there's so much opportunities that like you shouldn't like miss, because in other like counties, they don't have like trips for kids, do they?
So it is a national organization.
Yeah.
Oh, so it
I did see that on the website. I was going to ask. I thought it was just a Marin County thing.
Yeah, no. So it's national. So I couldn't tell you the exact number of how many different places we are, but Trips for Kids Marin will be actually changing its name to Trips for Kids Bay Area pretty soon.
Oh, that's so cool.
Because we do more than just rides out here north of the bridge. We do also East Bay rides. So the Berkeley Albany Bowl will go through. We'll ride at Point Pinole and some different parks out there as well.
Wow, that's so cool. I honestly thought it was just a Marin thing. And then I did a little bit of my research. I know with Adam, we only focused on Earn a Bike program.
Yeah.
But when I heard that you were going to be on the show, I really wanted to kind of dig in. I did see that. And that's why I was like, whoa, you guys provide a lot more than what we originally brought, had Adam on the show for. He explained the Earn for Bike, which is what I also want to talk in briefly about, because it is part of the program, but you guys do offer so much more things. And again, that internship, I think it's so useful. It can lead you to so many skills. And I know my cousin ended up going to the military and studying mechanic something. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But he did go to the military, and I remember him really being intrigued and passionate about the bikes and how fixing them up really helped him, and that transferred him into a different career. Yeah. So if you don't want to go to college, or if that's something else, definitely doing an internship in general is so useful, because you kind of experience and explore what you like and don't like. Yeah. Even if you don't like an internship, just try it out, because then you don't like that, and then in the future you won't have to do it, which I think is super cool. And then just jumping right into Earn a Bike program, can you give us a brief explanation of what Earn a Bike, the Earn a Bike program is, just for people who haven't heard about it?
Yeah, so the Earn a Bike program is an access providing program to help folks who would generally not have access, or for anyone who is trying to get a bike, to earn a bike. And so it's a four class Zoom unit, a 4-unit Zoom class. That's a better way to put it.
Oh, it's a Zoom class this time.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So it used to be in person, and I would love for that to be the case. Stepping into this role, it's a really exciting part of that. But right now, we're unable to have students around with COVID being, as it is, and we're trying to figure out going forward how we can get back to being in person. But right now, it is a Zoom class. 4 classes you must attend. There's small little homework assignments, such as just drawing like parts of the bike.
Okay.
And you learn all the parts. It's pretty based on learning the styles of bikes, also learning the different, being able to name all the parts and just learning how a little bit of mechanics around them. Generally, you would be building the bike if you were in person. But at the end, after you've made it through all 4 classes, then which happen on Tuesdays, 4 to 5. Tuesdays, 4 to 5. And you have to, once you complete, then you get a bike. And it is a particular style of bike that we generally do our programs with. You'll earn a free bike by doing the 4 classes, in short.
Okay.
Do you pick it up on like in the store, your bike?
So we will build it. We'll get the heights of all the students in our class, and then we'll build it, and then we'll arrange a time for you to come to the warehouse and pick it up. We'll give a run through. We'll also give you a helmet, and if we're trying to make sure also we can get bike locks as well. So and teach you how to protect your bike.
What's the age requirement for that, or is it just a height? Same thing.
That's the same thing.
Same thing. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's so awesome.
It's sweet. I wish I had it as a kid. I had one bike that was new that I ever got, and that was stolen. And after that, it was whatever I could get my hands on. And growing up between Davis, California, and Sacramento, in Davis being a very, very bike-friendly town, also has a very large bike theft issue, you might say. And maybe I partook in the issue a little bit when I didn't have my own personal access to a new bike, but if you kind of catch the drift on that, but it was a lot of, that was the culture of the community I was in my apartment complex. People were stealing bikes, and I once found my stolen bike in the back of somebody else's balcony and stole it back. So like,
yeah, I've had a couple bikes from family as well being taken, so that's awesome. And again, thank you so much for the opportunity for Trip for Kids. I think this is such an amazing program, and I'm so excited to continue talking about it. We are going to go on a short break, and then we'll be right back with more information.
Excellent.
This society try to crush my spirit, but my chicano so don't fall. I'm 100 with it. Mi gente dice al 100, puro pa' adelante, pa' atrás a más, que eso por en vivo ya verás. Vamos, vamos, pa' adelante. Vamos, vamos, pa' adelante. Vamos, vamos, pa' adelante. Vamos, vamos, yeah. So who's the victor? You Roman silver, the 30 coins of Judas. I matched their gold, abundance of wealth that will never told. I'm the mind alliance, youngest defiance, storm of stars and all the science. Duality of the serpent, don't misinterpret. I'm fine wisdom, age in the temple of the serpent. I'm the flaminess of God's poems, wisdom that hits the soul. Nobility, we slip forth, it's hard to fight every day. We born to prove victory, not to feign decay. I'm good at Pachá Princess, Erin on her horse, ready for war. We don't die, we regenerate. Victory, our fate. On a cool breeze, I move with ease. My intellect stays strapped. I embrace my heritage. The brown, white, and the black. I got my mind on my studies, and my studies on my mind. Ready to hit back with facts. Blackjack. So what's the meaning? Historical victory from the beginning.
We are back with Shahne from Trip for Kids. Thank you again for joining us. That was Pa Delante by Ismael Lara. We're going to have him soon. We've been promising that, which we're so excited. You should check him out. He's an amazing advocate for Latinx, absolutely amazing person. And I do want to say to everyone, so on Sunday, July 24th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., it's going to be the Trip for Kids Family Bike Festival. It's going to be at Pickaway Park and at the library in Santa Fe, and it's free, and you don't need to register. Take your family. There's going to be pizza and bike gear giveaway. So go ahead and go take your family over there, which is awesome. And also, if you want to find out more information about Trip for Kids, look at their website. It's tripforkids.org, and you can find the Marin, I guess, area, because it is a big organization. So look out for that information. And now back to with Shahne.
Also, find us on Instagram and Facebook.
Oh, yes.
For sure. It's on our list here.
Yes, and it's Trip for Kids
Marin.
Marin.
Yep.
Follow them too. It's always good the way you can support, which we're going to talk about later on the show as well. But one of the ways to support is always following and just sharing their content, because this is a very great program for everybody. And they provide a lot of resources, which is what we need in our community.
Do you know what's going to be in the giveaway? Or is it
I would guess maybe water bottles, maybe helmet, just like small, like swag type stuff. Maybe some, I would probably.
Great,
water
yeah.
bottle?
Yeah.
So I do want to talk about the Trail Rides program. Can you explain what that is? Because that to me is a little bit new.
Yeah. So it is truly the bread and butter of our organization. A lot of the money that's being made for the organization is really being put back into continuing this Trail Rides program. So that is what I do. I am scheduling rides with different youth organizations. And we get folks out on, on rides in their community. We teach them how to ride. We focus a lot on the natural environment. That's some of my personal background, being an environmental science teacher for 4 years and working in the environment, in the outdoors for 10 years or so, getting folks outside that maybe wouldn't have the opportunity. Maybe they're at home. Maybe their particular community is not as safe to be outside in that space. And so it's really dedicated to getting, underserved and underrepresented community out on rides. And so we work with a lot of different organizations throughout the East Bay and Marin, and we're trying to we're also in San Francisco. And like this Family Bike Festival is focused on providing like an event for folks that we are already doing rides with that are in this local community. So Alcohol Justice being one of those organizations that we have upcoming rides with. We've connected with the Canal Alliance. We have the Davidson program that is an after school program that is also at I think it's, Venetia Valley School?
Venetia Valley.
Yeah. And so this program is more dedicated because we've had a lot of rides that are like working with this particular community. We wanted to provide this cool community building event. So the Trail Rides program really is like in support of to be able to build community for events like this. But also it's, we're trying to get lots of people out on rides and so they can understand how important it is for your mental health. I mentioned social emotional learning is something that we're trying to overlay and just understanding our social emotional health and what an activity like this can support you, how it can support you. Let's see. Yeah. Do you have a specific question?
Yeah, I really like how you mentioned about that's really important, the emotional aspect of riding bikes, because there's very beautiful trails around here in Marin, and I really like the ones in near the beach. I'm not sure how far you guys go from the trails.
Yeah. So
yeah.
One of the spots that we traditionally had ridden was Tennessee Valley. We'll go out to the beach at Tennessee Valley. It's pretty short, but I see it as an opportunity to spend a little more time looking and learning about the nature on a ride like that.
Where's that?
Tennessee Valley is, let's see, it's really close to Sausalito. So just off the freeway, I'm always good with, I try to think about landmarks.
Is it near the SMART train? I mean, the train that we went to Sausalito? Or was that different? No, that's Larkspur.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a bit different. But Tennessee Valley, it's really good to go up there.
Tennessee Valley, and then we'll do a lot of marsh rides along the coastline, and
Yeah, I feel like it would be really fun to go on a trail ride right next to the beach.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. For me personally, I really like the weather. It's breezy and not too hot. Yeah.
Especially in the East Bay, we do a Berkeley waterfront ride. So it's bay beach, but it's right along the water, all the way along. You can see the whole bay. See the Marin and the Golden Gate Bridge. It's pretty sweet.
Have you ridden? Sorry.
No, you're good.
Have you had a group bicycle the Richmond Bridge?
No, not in recent time. I think Adam once tried to do that, and it's really tough.
Yeah.
For youth. It's hot, and a lot of the risks that you're getting is other
really
riders
windy.
also.
Other riders.
That are going
Okay.
really fast coming down.
I was gonna ask on the rides. Do you guys do more road bikes or more mountain biking?
We're all mountain biking.
Mountain biking?
all
Oh,
mountain
that's so
biking,
cool.
yeah.
I actually love mountain biking. I do not like road bikers.
We
I
were
always
talking
say
about that a
this.
little earlier.
I don't know, when I drive and I have a biker on there, I am like I get very anxious because I don't know their move.
Yeah.
What if they fall and I'm like, you know, so. But I do love mountain bikers. My brother, actually my whole family, my grandpa, my dad, and my siblings are really big mountain bikers. And they do a lot of trails. And one of my favorite trails that I've gotten to see them recorded is the going to Mount Tam.
Yes.
They do the Mount Tam trail, and I think it's so nice.
It's amazing.
And they love the downhill. So coming down the downhill is their favorite thing in the whole wide world, which I
would be scared.
I know, but that is their favorite. I know my grandpa does it too. He does China Camp a lot and does other areas, which I love how they enjoy it a lot, and so I can imagine how kids can have that feeling. I know when my brother says that, it's just like he's like, you don't think about anything but just riding, and having that experience is everything for him.
It's truly like a meditation. Like you're not thinking about except for what's forward, what's next, what's right here, right, and being present.
Yeah. Kind of adding on to what you mentioned there, I was watching this person say how a lot of people say that meditate because it's so good for you, and she was saying, but meditation for me doesn't work because she can't sit still, and like if she sits still, like her mind goes everywhere. And she pointed out something so important to me, and that's that meditation can be in different ways, whether that's sitting quietly in a room by yourself, whether that's going biking. Sometimes that is your own meditation, and I thought that was so powerful because you can meditate in your own way. I don't think there's a right or wrong way on how to meditate.
So true.
Yeah, I don't know. At least for me, I would be so scared to like go down, like, because like Mount Tam is pretty high, you know.
Yeah, that adrenaline.
It's real. No,
Yeah.
absolutely. And it's once you feel it, once you start to feel like you're in control and you build up some of those skills, like you'd be surprised what you could pull off. Especially with the kids and doing series rides, especially the Davidson group that we go with, and they want to go faster and faster to the point where like we only try to take them so fast on these trails, but they're right behind us, you know, and I could tell they're getting better and better and more comfortable and balanced, and going downhill is very terrifying.
It's terrifying for me, I think for us, because my brothers, they use a GoPro and always film and whenever I get to see their footage, and sometimes they fall, sometimes they have these injuries, and they still go on there, and I always ask them why, and they're like, it feels so good, that adrenaline, that the views. I know they love riding, and it's absolutely amazing, which I actually wanted to ask you. We've been kind of asking all about the kids, and what is your experience riding with the kids? Because I think it's so different when you're riding alone versus with a group, and the group is like, you know, you're responsible for them.
Yeah. It's a lot different. I think I was a little bit talking earlier about this idea of my style of riding and wanting to still be getting out and doing mountain biking like you're talking about your family members do. I love doing that as well. And some days I'm doing a 4-hour ride with just youth, and on those days I'm usually not doing the other style of riding. But a lot of it is because I'm putting my full energy into being on the trails with the kids, and I just want them to feel safe. As you're speaking to going downhill, and just wanting to make them feel comfortable and like they can, you know, like they can do anything, you know. And I like to. I'm the type of person that's going to treat kids like young adults. Like I'm going to give them trust and respect, and allow them to make their own decisions. And so a lot of what I enjoy about these trail rides in Golden Gate Park as well, what we do is we build them up. We build them up starting real simple. and then building into more advanced and technical features and focusing on their body, you know, and as you're in middle school age, getting into high school age, your body is changing, and being able to, you know, understand balance and also understand that, like, it's okay. Like, you can fall and you can get back up. Like, believe it or not, the human body, you know, not all falls, but it can deal with falls, you know, and being able to be like, okay, like, I'm all right. Let me keep going, you know, and that lesson as well that you're learning. And honestly, like, I'm not the type also that's going to just be teaching them and telling them what they should be doing all the time. I allow them to teach me through the questions that they ask me, you know, and their experience. They're sharing their experience in that moment. And I can't be like, oh, you should, right? That there's a statement again, oh, you should be doing this. It's like, oh, like, well, how does it feel? You know, it's like, well, this is maybe the seat height that we say is recommended, but how does it feel for you? Right? Because your seat height might be really high, but if you're up on your tippy toes, it doesn't feel that great. Right? You know, and so like it's like you need to feel okay doing this and manage your own risk and push yourself, right? And know how to do that and not feel like everybody's just like, you're just my puppet child that I establish your limits, you know?
Yeah. I think falling on your own teaches you a lot, like versus you just hearing it. And anything you do, if you experience it, that's like the best learning thing you could do, which is so awesome. I do have a curiosity. Is there like a moment or a very special moment with the kids that is like locked up in your head? Like,
I would say the one that pops directly into my mind is not a trail rides time. It was an earn a bike moment.
Okay.
So one of so we're pretty clearly, clearly state that we like to focus on underserved communities, but I think the underrepresented within that umbrella, we're trying to get a little bit more understanding of folks that may struggle with different mental health, you know, experiences and learning disabilities like myself and what I struggle with a little bit. And just being able to provide a class, this Earn a Bike class, to a student that may have been on the learning disability spectrum, and allowing him to be able to still succeed. And when he came up and picked up his bike, he's like so juiced. And I'm like really happy to like be getting him his bike. And first thing he's like, man, like I'm so excited. Like I have this friend, my friend's been telling me about this mountain bike club at Berkeley High, and hasn't had a bike, and so finally he can go and join his friend on this mountain bike club.
Oh, so cute.
Right? And and I really appreciate it. I'm all about trying to create a pathway, not just to experiencing that natural space and all the benefits that we've kind of already been talking about, but also like creating a pathway into the sport. For myself, it wasn't an option. I wasn't told to me that you can do this competitively and it's really fun. And the sport has kind of not been accessible to certain types of folks. And I saw this pretty clearly when I was working for Specialized in Trek, and the lack of diversity in those spaces, the lack of diversity you're seeing on the Tour de France or these downhill mountain bike competitions, right? And so I am excited about also inspiring youth to feel like they can do something that maybe they aren't seeing themselves on a bike, you know, they don't see themselves or somebody that looks like them on TV, or they're far in between. And we see like when you're in a sport and you have one, you know, like black and brown person that's finally, you know, penetrated into that sport, tennis, golf, like people swarm to this, and that creates that mentorship, right? And you can see yourself. And so I really am excited about being in this position to inspire folks. I'm like, I love the sport. If I had the opportunity, I would have loved to go out and race, you know. It's just like, I just didn't know, and it's expensive, right? And so I'm hoping to bring to this as well, is creating that pathway to feel like we can inspire kids to join a team, like it's okay. Like you just get out there, you know.
That's so interesting. Yeah. I didn't know there was like competition for bicycles either.
They're fun to watch, at least for me. Yeah.
It's heavy out here. Sorry to interrupt. Out here, this is like a major, like, I don't want to use the best word, just a starting place, like a birthplace of mountain biking. And so a lot of these high schools out here all have mountain bike teams, like all of them. It's like a big thing.
Is it like wild. A marathon? Like, you know how you're running, there's this race?
there's different types.
Yeah, I know I have family members who participate, and it's like you go up the hill and you have to do a mountain, and whoever wins at top wins the prize. And people all over the world, if there's a competition in a certain area, people from all over the world will come to it, which is insane.
That's interesting, because in high school I did not hear anything about that.
Yeah, I know in TL it was a very small club. And also in middle school for me, it was a very small club. Like there was only less than 10 kids because it's not very well known. I know my brother didn't participate in it because he didn't know that existed. But it is a program, and I would love for them to be more, that it's a sport, aside from football and every other sport, it's a sport. And the reason why I asked you about an experience, because I wanted one, for us to hear your experience, and then also our audience to hear what Trips for Kids can offer. And that leads to my community engagement, which is how can the community support Trips for Kids?
Yeah, definitely spread the word. We are actively trying to reach communities that we aren't currently reaching, such as, and we have worked with in the past, but Marin City is a space that we're really trying to reach out. And I'm excited to use some of the connections that I'm bringing to this space to have more rides. We want to do more rides. We want and I think expanding the lens, a lot of it has been just focused on youth, and that is our main focus, but I think it can go beyond. It can go up to young adults, and all types of folks that maybe wouldn't normally have this experience or opportunity. But yeah, follow us on on Instagram, on Facebook. Tell folks about our Earn a Bike program. It's I'm really excited about the Earn a Bike program. Please let folks know. I would love to fill this class that starts.
I was wondering, Santi, since we were up above from their age range, I was wondering would you be interested in riding a bike around your age?
Me?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Or your brothers?
Yeah, my brother. My brother did apply to work for Trip for Kids, but we started our own project, which he didn't end up going, but he had an interview with one of the people from there. But he did want to, because again, he was so passionate, and just the idea of working with kids I think is so powerful. And I think as a if I was really into the sport the way my brothers are, I highly encourage for females to participate in that, because I know that it's sometimes a male dominated sport, but I've seen a lot in the mountain biking competitions. I see these amazing women who can do absolutely incredible things, and I'm like, whoa, queen, I want to do that too. So if you're someone who is, I think you can achieve anything in any area, whether it's football, biking, graphic design, anything, no matter your gender, I think you can be very successful.
Yeah. Thank you for mentioning that too. So important. It is heavily and almost toxically male sport in a lot of ways. And so trying to break down that culture is a big deal. And we need more of all people.
Yes. Yeah, so women, go fly.
I'm surprised. Oh man, some of these, because we would swap at the Davidson and do an all boys and then all girls group, and there's no difference in skill level there. Right behind me, they're getting better, real fast. I'm looking back, and I remember her name. Her name's Sophia. This Latinx girl, and she's fast, and I'm just there's mountain bike teams. I'm I have to slow down. I have to keep reminding myself to slow down so that we're staying together.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, it's such an interesting sport, and I think again, boy or girl, you can do amazing things. You did mention earlier in the show that you have donation bikes. How does that work? Can the community donate bikes, used bikes, new bikes? How does that work? And also, let's start there.
Yeah, we accept all donated bikes. We will either decide if there's something that we can rebuild back up and then sell as a used bike in our Recyclery, or we have a recycling partnership as well. So we'll recycle old frames and really try to save whatever we can,
And I think you mentioned that it's near here, right?
Yeah, 610 4th Street. So right across from Taqueria San Jose.
Yeah, it's the one here, right? It's very close from here.
Yep.
I've seen it. There's like so many bikes outside.
Exactly, yep.
Oh, okay. So that's where they recycle the bikes.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's the Recyclery. And then we have another location on Larkspur Avenue, which is our warehouse. And that's where we used to run the Earn a Bike class, was out of there. It's like 1 block down from the Canal Alliance. On the corner there is where we are. And I'm excited to start bringing folks back. It used to be really a hub for youth.
Yeah, I remember that.
School.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to try to get
That's so cool.
So like is there any volunteer work that people can do to help the organization?
Yeah. So we're rebuilding, I would say, the volunteer program and in a lot of ways, and just making sure that safety is being put at the forefront. So especially when we're working with youth. So background check and understanding that you're a mandated reporter are 2 things that are really, really at the top of our list if you want to be a volunteer and be coming onto trail rides. And so this is something you can go onto the website and find out how to do. I'm not 100. I don't believe that it is we are currently accepting. I don't think the forms are on the website right now as we're trying to rebuild this, but really in the near future. Otherwise, the Recyclery also will be accepting volunteers as well, which is less on the, you're not going to be working with you. So some of the rules might be a little bit different, but definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, I think just in general, this program is really cool. I think I learned a lot. There's like a lot of different programs, and I'm hoping to see more like biking trails for like people like 18 and up. Because that would be cool to see. And more women.
Yes.
Bicycling for sure.
I've been trying to. I have 7 sisters, and
Wow,
I've been trying
big
to get
family.
Yeah, no brothers too. And I've been trying to get them out, and trying to inspire them. And we all grew, like a bunch of us grew up in Davis, and so like they've been on bikes, but I was the one that was like out all day on my bike all the time. And I've tried to get them on bikes, but they're like, e-bike? Can I get an e-bike? I was like, yeah, you can get an e-bike. They're great. I love e-bikes too. They're fun.
Yeah, and this is just like a fun question. Like, what was like the scariest trail that you've been on?
Oh, good question.
Goodness. Let's see. So I've been leveling up. One of the things, my personal goals when I go mountain biking on this pretty intense downhill stuff is I try to learn and level up each time. And so some of the stuff that I used to see as super scary might not be as scary anymore. But there is one trail called Hobo that is very steep and has some pretty maybe like I think there's probably at least a 9-foot like slide drop that you slide down into a turn, and a few other drops, either that or at China Camp. I also ride at China Camp. I don't know if I could say all the trails on there because some of them might not be so allowed to be biked on. I don't know. I'm still learning. I don't want to put anything on blast, but there's a lot of awesome steep stuff. I like steep and slippery and rocky stuff.
Yeah. Well, I was just asking this question, but like I don't want to like cause any fear for the audience because everything is like a learning experience. So, yeah.
On the video that we posted for promoting the show, I did put a quote, and it said, let's see if I remember. If you think about what was it? If you are afraid about getting on the bike, you will never learn how to ride.
Yeah.
I think it was something like that. And it's just a very powerful message. And I think biking can teach you so many life lessons about balance, about getting, not letting fear control you. With that, again, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah.
Before we end the show, is there any last words you want to tell our audience or...
Let's see. I'm just really excited to keep this partnership going. I would love to jump on again in the near future. It's just been a pleasure. I'm really excited. I was really nervous, but y'all have been,
everyone was nervous.
I had a laugh attack at one moment.
it happens. The risk you take.
Do you have anything to say?
No, I think it was really fun, like learning more about Trips for Kids and meeting you, and I think it was really nice. Just in general, I was just wondering, like, what trail did you bike for the TikTok?
That was actually my brother.
Oh, really?
So I don't know if you saw, we tagged you, Trips for Kids, on the video, but I really wanted to kind of show what the bike ride would be. And last night I was telling my brother, can you please send me some of your videos of when you were biking? And some of them are in Tam, some of them are in China Camp. And he's also been riding in Guatemala. There's a huge mountain and they go over there. There's actually a huge event that our town hosts. Nice. And it's very new, and they go there and they ride there, which is different experience because the elevation is very different. So like it's a different experience.
That's awesome.
But thank you so much for being here. Thank you to our production team, Kim and Javier, who are backstage. As always, we are live on here on Facebook and YouTube Fridays at 4 p.m. And yeah, thank you so much. Follow us and follow Trips for Kids at Trips for Kids Marin and Tay Radio Marin on Instagram, TikTok, every other platform. Spotify. If you can't watch, listen to us on Spotify. Again, thank you so much. And yeah, we'll see you. Go ahead.
Finally, if you want to follow me personally on Instagram, I have an Instagram dedicated to my mission, which overlaps with my job, but it's called Ethnic Cycle on Instagram. Ethnic Cycle.
All right. Well, go follow you guys and support our local communities and their organizations.